Hi dear Aquariuses, welcome to my YouTube channel, and in this video I'm going to talk about the transits in August. August is super busy for you guys, lots of going on for Aquariuses. First of all, we have two full moons this month, one at the very beginning and one at the very end. There will be a new moon in the middle, and Venus is retrograde the entire month in your relationship house, so it's an important period. Let's begin. I'm gonna start by talking about the big transits first, okay, and then I'm gonna slowly narrow it down to more personal planet transits. So the nodes recently changed signs. So the North Node entered your third house. It left your fourth house. So now the focus is not on your family matters. It is now on your siblings, short-term travel, communication. Yeah. And the nodes are making a square to Pluto in your 12th house. So siblings, faraway places, higher education, spirituality, those matters are like making a square. Yeah, and the Pluto is on the 29th degree of Capricorn, which is a critical degree. Yeah. And Neptune is retrograding the entire August. It has been in your second house since 2011. It has been in there for 12 years, and it still has like 2 more years to spend in that house. So it must have been good for you guys actually financially, because Neptune rules Pisces, so the ruler of your second house has been in your second house for 12 years now. This is extremely rare and nice. It probably felt nice for you guys. Next, Uranus, your ruling planet, is shaking things up in your fourth house. So something about the place where you live at, sudden changes, sudden surprises, because Uranus is sudden changes. So it rules lightnings. Yeah. So, and also on the positive note, it must have been making you live at very unconventional, interesting places, or the houses that are like interesting, yeah, unique in some way. Because the fourth house is a place where we live at. Another interpretation can be that like your parents, maybe one of your parents is having like very Uranus experiences, like something unconventional, something unorthodox, yeah, something exciting. Yeah. This year, you will also have Jupiter until next May. Uranus has been in there since early 2019, and it has 2 more years in there, but Jupiter will spend only 1 year in there until next May. So it must have been making family matters pleasant. The house where you live at, it probably gave you a bigger house because Jupiter expands things. Yeah. Next is Saturn. Saturn is in your second house again, along with Neptune. So Saturn is probably making you more disciplined about your budget. Saturn demands discipline. Yeah. So it is making you revise maybe your finances. In some cases it might bring restrictions in your finances. Yeah, it might feel like you are broke no matter how much you work. But don't worry, this is temporary. It's gonna spend only 2 years in your house. And remember, Neptune is in your second house as well. So it is like a saving grace. So now let's talk about the transits. On August 1st, there will be a full moon in your sign, okay, on the 9th degree. And so those of you who were born in late January, you're gonna feel this the most. But still, it's an important full moon for all Aquariuses. So the moon is gonna be illuminating your first house of self, and then the sun will be shining in your relationship house. Yeah. So again, the focus is on your relationships. There will be some sort of illumination regarding your relationship matters. Maybe your partner will shine a light on like aspects of yourself, because the moon is in your first house after all. Yeah. And the thing about this full moon is that both of the luminaries will be making a square to Jupiter in Taurus. So, and Jupiter is in your fourth house. So the T-square involving you, your relationship, and your family. Yeah. So what else? Jupiter tends to make things over the top. Jupiter doesn't know when to stop, how to discriminate. So when it touches something good, it makes it big. When it touches something bad, it magnifies it. Yeah, Jupiter is like that. So when it's involved with a full moon, it means it can make our emotions over the top. dramatic, overly dramatic, okay, because Leo is a dramatic sign after all. So yeah, expect people to be overly dramatic, overly emotional at this full moon. Plus, Mercury and Mars in Virgo will be making an opposition to Saturn in Pisces, and that can make our thoughts pessimistic around this full moon as well. So be patient with yourself and with others. Like 4 days plus or minus around this full moon, okay? You will still feel the effect of this full moon. But it should bring some sort of like understanding, clarity maybe in your relationship matters, especially Venus is also retrograde in your relationship house, so it's really important for your relationships. Thankfully, after that full moon, there's not much going on in the skies, and that would like matter in a big way. And on August 8th, we have the last quarter moon. I mean, the last quarter moons are not super significant. They're not like the new moons or what is it, full moons. No, they're not like that. They usually mark the beginning of a week before the new moon, so it is a good time to wrap things up, finish up the project or the things that began with the new moon in Cancer in July. Okay, you make sure you get rest. It's a good time to rest, relax, and get energy for the next new moon. You can also use this week to get ready for the new moon in a way, like for example, like I did last time. I was collecting documents the week before the new moon. I was collecting documents, filling out an application, and I mailed them 2 days before the new moon. So by the time the new moon occurred, they received my documents and my application. Yeah, so that is what you can do as well. But otherwise, don't waste energy trying to start new things during this week before August 16th. It will be a waste of energy. Okay, so allow yourself to relax without feeling guilty. On August 13th, the Sun and Venus are gonna be conjunct on the 20th degree of Leo. So Aquariuses, those of you who were born around the 10th of February, you guys are going to feel this conjunction the most. But still, this is important for all Aquariuses, no matter when your birthday is. Because the conjunction of Sun and Venus retrograde marks the beginning of a new phase in your relationships. Yeah, for the past 9 months, Venus has been an evening star. We could see her in the evening sky right after the sunset. But this time, after this conjunction, Venus is going to re-emerge as the morning star. We will be able to see Venus like very early in the morning, right before the sunrise. Yeah, so this conjunction marks the beginning of a new phase, and you guys might gain some clarity, some sort of understanding in your relationships, whether you notice it or not. Maybe in hindsight you will realize, okay, that's when a new phase started. But yeah, so this is important, especially in relationship houses. And the thing about Venus retrograde is that when it's conjunct in retrograde phase with the Sun, it is right between the Sun and the Earth. It is right between, so it's like super close to Earth. So we will be receiving like Venus energy, like unfiltered. So it's a good time to think about like Venus matters, relationship and finance matters. Okay, and this conjunction of Sun and Venus in retrograde phase, it doesn't happen very often. It happens only every 8 years. So try to remember what happened in August 2015. That's when you had this Venus and Sun conjunction in your relationship house. So after that, on August 16th, there will be a new moon in Leo on the 23rd degree, again, in your 7th house. As I mentioned, August is all about relationships for you. So, yeah, during this new moon, both of the luminaries will be making a tight square to Uranus in Taurus. All of them will be on the 23rd degrees of their signs, so it's an exact square, so it's super important. Uranus will be giving some sort of surprise, something unexpected, okay? But I hope the close proximity of Venus to the luminaries is gonna be like a saving grace. Yeah, because Venus is diplomatic. She makes sure things aren't too bad. Yeah, so whatever surprises Uranus brings, I hope it will be something that we can deal with easily. Okay. Another interesting thing about that new moon is that there will be a kite aspect in the sky. So remember I mentioned the Mercury and Mars opposition and Neptune in Pisces, right? There will be Mercury and Mars conjunction in opposition to Saturn. Yeah, so they will be in opposition. But there will be Uranus and Pluto in Earth signs, and Earth signs are friendly with Pisces and Virgo, so they will be acting as mediators to those opposing signs. So it's an interesting energy. It doesn't happen very often. So I think this new moon is gonna start a very interesting month, despite that square to Uranus. But I think that Uranus square brings us some fun, unexpected fun. On August 21st, there will be an exact square between Venus retrograde in Leo and Jupiter in Taurus. So lots of activity between Leo and Taurus. So your home and your relationships. Now, squares are usually tense aspects, but this time we have two benefics involved, Venus and Jupiter. They're not bad planets. So the way this aspect might manifest is that you might overspend. Yeah, you might splurge. But I would advise you not to overspend, not max out your credit card, because when Venus is retrograde, our self-confidence is low. Yeah, and so in order to feel good, we might want to go on shopping spree, shopping therapy. But I wouldn't advise buying anything new in terms of fashion, clothes. Don't buy clothes at this time, because you will regret buying them after Venus turns direct. You're gonna barely wear them, so it will be like a waste of money. So what you can do is, in order to feel good about yourself, you should spend money on experiences, not materialistic things. Yeah, then you might feel good. Next, on August 23rd, the Sun is gonna enter Virgo. It's gonna leave your relationship house and enter your intimacy house, the house of shared resources, your partner's money, loans, credit cards. Okay, and on the same day that the Sun enters Virgo, Mercury is gonna station retrograde in Virgo as well, and it's gonna be retrograde for a month until September 22nd. So expect some sort of revision in financial matters, maybe in intimacy matters, because Mercury will be going retrograde. So you'll be talking, rediscussing those matters, reviewing that. Another way, and obviously Mercury retrograde is famous for miscommunications, misunderstandings. So beware, mark your calendars. Be like, for a month there will be misunderstandings. Make sure you reread your email twice before you send it. Make sure you attach the file to it. Make sure you send the mail to the right address. Or even when you're ordering things online, make sure you put the correct address. One time I had pizza delivered to the wrong address because I didn't check the town that the website suggested in the options. Yeah, so somebody got a free pizza with a similar address. Yeah, so Mercury retrograde can cause things like that. And also, when Mercury is retrograde, make sure you understood the people, or make sure they understood what you are saying, because there will be misunderstandings. Okay, there can be. It's highly likely. Also, keep in mind that Mercury retrograde's confusing phase, it is at its strongest when Mercury turns right when it turns direct, and when it's about to turn direct. Yeah, when it's in the middle, it's slightly alright, but yeah. And another thing about Mercury retrograde is that don't buy electronics. I know August is a time when a lot of people are going back to school, so they buy a new laptop, a new phone, or a new printer or whatever. But please buy those in early August while Mercury is still direct and strong. If you do have to buy in late August, please make sure you keep the receipt or buy an insurance with it. That way, if something goes wrong, you can have it repaired or replaced for free, or for a cheaper price. Because when you buy things during Mercury retrograde, there's gonna be some sort of glitch, whatever, with the thing. Not right away maybe, but later on. Yeah. So it's better to be safe than sorry. So yeah, next on August 28th, Mars is gonna enter Libra until October 12th. So it's gonna leave your house of finances, and it's gonna enter your house of fun, travel, yeah, higher education. So you might, yeah, like when Mars is in the ninth house, so it brings activity. Maybe like hanging out with foreigners. I don't know. Like foreign things are emphasized. Long distance travel is emphasized. Yeah. Next, on August 28th, Uranus, your ruling planet, is gonna station retrograde until January 27th, 2024. Yeah. Well, but Uranus retrograde, it happens every year for like almost half of the year. So it's a very subtle energy because it is not a personal planet. It's very far away. We usually feel the retrograde motion of the personal planets the most, but outer planets barely. It's very subtle. So it doesn't mean that you're not gonna feel it. Obviously, you will be like making revisions, readjustments in terms of your family, your living place, but in very subtle ways. Yeah, and so when Uranus stations retrograde, it's gonna join Venus, Mercury, Uranus itself, like, and then Saturn, Neptune, and Pluto. So 6 planets will be retrograde by the end of August. That's like more than half of the planets in the solar system. There are like 10 planets, right? If we include the sun and moon as planets. So it's gonna feel like as if we're moving in like slow motion. I mean, it's not really gonna happen that way, but that's how it's going to feel. Or imagine like being like this deep in water and you try to run underwater. It's exhausting, right? That's how it's going to feel. So don't waste energy trying to start new things because progress is gonna be at a snail pace despite the Herculean efforts from you. Yeah. Instead, use this time to make adjustments, to make changes, I don't know, tweaking to the things that are already in progress. It's an excellent time for that. Also, Venus is retrograde the entire month, so August is not a good time to start new things. It's not a good time to start new business, especially. Yeah, because why do we do business? We do business to make money, and Venus rules money. So why would you want the money planet invisible in the DNA of your business? So try to wait until October, because in September, yes, Venus is gonna turn direct, but still she's gonna be in like shadow phase. But like yeah, October is better for starting a new business. Yeah, I think I mentioned everything about this retrograde stuff. And so on August 30th, finally, we have the full moon in Pisces. On the 7th degree of Pisces. So if you have planets around that degree, you're gonna feel it the most. Maybe you have your Venus around that degree. Maybe your, I don't know, your rising sign, your moon around the 7th degree of Pisces. Then you are going to feel this. But otherwise, for Aquariuses, this full moon is in your 2nd house, your financial matters. So the full moon that was in the beginning of the month was about your relationships, yourself, but now it's about your finances. My money, my partner's money, sharing resources. Yeah, those themes are going to be like prominent when the luminaries are lighting up your financial houses. Now, the thing about this full moon is that the full moon is conjunct Saturn in the early degrees of Pisces, so it's a close conjunction. And it creates an interesting energy because the moon, Pisces and the moon are very emotional, water elements. And then Saturn, it's a very dry planet. It rules Capricorn. It's a very dry and restriction, control, like freezing. Saturn rules refrigerators. So I feel like during this full moon, we're gonna be able to control our emotions much better than in the August 1st full moon. Yeah, that full moon is like overly emotional, but this one we're gonna feel frozen in emotions. It doesn't mean we're not gonna be emotional. No, all full moons are emotional. But I feel like during this full moon, we're gonna be able to control our emotions better. Okay, and also this full moon doesn't make many harsh aspects, so it should be like slightly chill. Okay. But again, as I said, full moons are full moons as always, so make sure you get enough rest around full moons. It can be emotionally draining. Some sort of culminations will be happening. So regarding financial matters, yeah, some sort of illumination, clarity, like fruition, because when the moon is full, all parts of it are illuminated, right? I mean, at least the parts that we can see. So yeah, everything becomes clear during full moon, or something is gonna be complete. Okay. So Aquariuses, this is it for you guys in August. As I said, Venus is retrograde all month, so focus on your relationships. Instead of like allowing the energies to do like things on their own, I guess consciously try to work with the energy. Try to figure out what is exactly wrong in your relationships. What exactly do you want from your partnerships? Use this energy, because this is rare. This happens only once every 8 years. Okay. So I hope you guys have a pleasant month despite all of these retrogrades. And if you like this video, please subscribe, and hopefully I'll see you guys in September. Thank you for watching. Bye.